Hey everybody, welcome to the Always Out of Market podcast for Lucky Week 13. Coming off of the clap, as Steven said last week, got a little bit of the sniffles still. We're reset, ready to go, but I'm gonna power through today. Sorry if I sniffle at all, or if I sound congested. We're coming off of a very fun week in general for me. I've had probably the best week of football of my entire life for this past week with Auburn and the Seahawks, as y'all can all imagine. It's been just happiness after happiness. So I'm in a very happy mood for football today. But yeah, we got some fun games this week, I think. Do we? We have fun games this week.
There are some good games this week.
There's
yes,
some good ones.
Yeah, we got some good games this week. Honestly, the Thursday night game was good, but yeah, obviously we have me, Ryan Reed, for you podcast listeners. This is my sexy voice. We have Steven the Paul Bailey, Jason Jeremiah Trost, and Matt Hugh Fuller. That's your last name, right?
You're making us look bad, Ryan. I called you Tyler. I can't say anything.
Let's say you're making us look bad now too.
You're looking so bad. He confused you for Tyler.
Yeah, but don't worry, guys. I might be in a sour mood for football, but these guys are all pretty happy. I mean, I'm sure. I don't know about Steven with his Titans fandom, but
yeah, I mean,
y'all beat the Panthers.
Barely.
Beat the Panthers.
Beat them by a touchdown, and that was it. And then, I mean, yeah, talking about the Broncos and the Packers, things have really changed the last few weeks. It's really turned around.
Broncos country is finally riding.
Yeah, but shout out to the NFC still being so fucking terrible, because even though the Titans, I think, the Titans, since they're in the AFC, they're like way down there, like 14th or 15th, but they still don't pick until like 10th because of all the NFC teams at the bottom being even worse. So. And then the Patriots, I guess, but.
I do love how the NFC is absolutely awful. You're right, compared to the AFC, but we're currently the Seahawks are in the middle of 5 NFC teams in a row that are like gonna kick our ass.
No. Just the bottom. The top of the NFC is great, but
that's the thing. We're up against really just those top teams. That's our fucking luck right now. We are in the good NFC teams streak right now. That's it.
It's pretty much just the Cowboys, Eagles, and 49ers.
And that was 4 weeks for us in a row. That's what we're in the middle of right now.
It's pretty much just them.
Yeah. But I did consider, for when we get to our picks and everything, I did consider making a saddest fan of the week slide for Ryan, but I didn't do it. And also, thank you to the Seahawks for making that a great game, because I'm going against the Cowboys defense this week. So thank you for that, Ryan. I know you told them to play better, so you did something there.
I mean, my complaints were in the past, they showed up. I mean, I've been complaining about the potentially Geno not like showing up and everything, but our offense, they went to bat. They came to Dallas. They scored 35 points. Like, they did really well. Our defense couldn't fucking stop Dak and CeeDee Lamb and fucking Ferguson, the fucking tight end.
Ferguson has been a solid tight end the last few weeks. He really has. So
you said that before we started, you said the defense looked like Swiss cheese. Mm-hmm. I agree that it looked like Swiss cheese, but there just wasn't any cheese.
Yeah. I will say though, there was some. I mean, we got our asses kicked, but there was some like elite tackles, like individual tackles throughout the game that the Seahawks made.
You don't know what was elite in that game? The flag throwing.
Oh my god, that was the most fucking pin. I mean, it wasn't the most penalized game ever, but it felt like it.
It was ref ball the whole game for sure.
Yeah, it was awful. It felt like every other play there was a flag. And then for a stretch there, when the Seahawks were trying to score, there was a flag every play for 4 plays in a row, I think.
Mm-hmm. We had to score a touchdown 3 times in a row to actually get a touchdown one time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Imagine if like the touchdowns got to stay, then the Seahawks would have definitely won.
Oh yeah.
They have.
Well, yeah.
3 back-to-back.
They would have scored like 50 points off of that drive alone.
Yeah. No, there was.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But so there was some questionable calls as well, and the fact, I mean, like obviously on both sides probably, but fucking that second Reek Woolen pass interference call that gave him another 40 yards or some shit. That was some bullshit. He didn't really fucking pass interfere at all. and the whole kick that we missed where Pete was calling a timeout before the fucking delay of game, but the refs didn't give a shit. Even though later in the game they were like, stop the play because like actually fucking Mike McCarthy called a timeout before the fucking we whistled. It's like, why did it matter when Pete fucking did it, huh? Like, why does Mike McCarthy get to fucking call a timeout in fucking the past? Pete doesn't, like, what the fuck?
But one thing we can say is, luckily, this was finally a good Thursday night football game. Because even the ones that were potentially going to be good, either somebody got hurt that completely derailed the game or something. Like, this was actually a really solid game to watch. Honestly, even though the refs made it feel like it was like a fucking 6-hour game. Because they kept stopping everything. But
it was the most... go ahead.
I was just going to say, last thing, shout out to DK Metcalf. He's been very inconsistent this year, but he played out of his fucking mind. Congratulations to you, Matthew. You might actually have a chance this week because of DK.
I didn't think I was gonna, but I think I was projected 104 points. Now I'm projected like 130 because of DK. So
yeah, Jason was telling. I was watching the game with Jason during it. He was like, "Yeah, I wanted to be a shootout so that the Cowboys can get a lot of points for me." But it was the shootout. It was a shootout, just in the wrong way because every fucking thing went to DK against Jason in fantasy.
All right. Well, so are we ready to start off with a little bit of news before we get started on everything else?
Yeah, why not? So we don't have a whole lot of news going on, but we do have some major things to bring up. But we'll start with something a little bit smaller. We'll go with the Cardinals waived Zach Ertz this week. And he cleared waivers, so he's free to sign with any team of his choosing. The Ravens, Eagles, and Bills are all suitors, it sounds like. He wants to sign with a team that has a chance to win the Super Bowl, so I don't know why he's choosing the Bills potentially. The Ravens definitely need a tight end with Mark Andrews being out, so I could see them aggressively going after him at this point. The Eagles, Dallas Goedert is hurt, but he should be back in the next couple weeks.
They never put him on IR, so he can just come back whenever he's ready.
I think he's technically just questionable this week. He's not like doubtful or out. So, I mean, I guess he could technically play tomorrow. I doubt it, or we would probably be hearing a lot more about it.
I mean, I'll tell you because he's on my bench. He's in my IR spot because I never moved him out, and they don't force you to move him out, even though he's moved to questionable. But he still is showing, I believe, a projection of 0.0. So I think he's leaning towards no, and I don't imagine he'll play. But I mean, I doubt feel like they need him though. But I didn't really. I was more focused on the Eagles. Like the second I heard that, he wanted to be released, which I don't blame him. I would want out of the Cardinals too. But I do think the Ravens would be the most interesting one, just because of the whole Mark Andrews situation. And Isaiah Likely does seem like a solid tight end, but I don't think he's tight end one material. So I think he'd probably go to the Ravens.
He already played for the Eagles, so
yeah, he has the ties to Philadelphia, but
that's true too. I didn't think about that. But
we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Maybe depending what the results of this upcoming week are, sways who he wants to sign with. If the Eagles happen to lose and the Ravens win, then those teams basically have an even record. I think the Eagles would still have one game on the Ravens, but they're both definitely Super Bowl contenders at this point. Like I said, I don't know why he's considering the Bills if he wants to win a Super Bowl, because it's not going to happen this year.
Hell, they'll be lucky to make the playoffs now. They're 6-6.
Yeah, exactly. And if I'm not mistaken, they don't have a favorable schedule for themselves, if I remember right.
The Bills?
Yeah.
Look at their schedule.
And while you're looking at that, we can talk about Joe Flacco is going to start for the Browns. Dorian Thompson-Robinson is out with a concussion. So Joe Flacco will get to start. It'll be interesting to see how they use him, and see what kind of scheme that they can bring up, because they've had running quarterbacks all season long.
Joe Flacco's elite. He's an elite quarterback. That's what they've always said.
I beg to differ.
Guys, let's be honest. how awful is he really gonna do on Sunday? Because he's not gonna be good. He hasn't played football in like 4 years or something or more.
Yeah, no,
So
it's
he's like
probably
80
not
years
going to be
old
good.
too.
he is. He's got to be pushing 80. I mean,
Was he officially the oldest in the NFL now? Has he replaced that Seahawks Jason Peters?
No, I'm
No.
sure he's not as old as Peter. 'Cause Peter's is like 40.
He's 40.
He's
too,
41.
Yeah, it was funny. It was we were watching the Seahawks signed Jason Peters a couple weeks ago to help with our O line, who's the oldest player currently signed to the NFL. And he's been in the league for 20 years. And on the game on Thursday, he was helping up Charbonnet, and I was like, he's helping up a guy who was 1 year old when he fucking got drafted.
That is bizarre to think about.
By the way, the Bills schedule coming up, it's Chiefs next week, then the Cowboys, then Chargers, Patriots, Dolphins.
So I was right. Not a favorable schedule for themselves, minus those 2 games right there in the middle.
Yeah.
I think
they could beat the Chargers, and they should beat the Patriots.
Yeah, they play the Patriots
they lost
at home,
to the Patriots before, so
they play the boys at home, and they play the Patriots at home. The rest of them are away games.
Also, Joe Flacco played as recently as last year.
Oh, did he?
He was on the Jets.
oh, I do remember that.
He played in 5 games.
It wasn't very long.
He played in 5 games. He played weeks 1 through 3, and then week 14 and week 18. And they lost all of those games except for one, and that was when they beat the Browns by 1 point.
Hell yeah.
He gets to go to the one team that he didn't beat when he played.
No, he's going to the one team that he did beat.
Sorry. One time he did beat.
Yep. Speaking of the Jets, it was a perfect segue. I almost said subway. Perfect segue.
There's no such thing as a perfect subway.
Yes, there is.
Aaron Rodgers has officially hit his 21-day practice window and is eyeing a return for Christmas Eve when they play at home against the Commanders. I do not agree with them trying to get him to play in this season.
I can't believe it.
Honestly,
I can't believe it.
He's going to be playing in a game that means absolutely nothing for this team. They are not going to make the playoffs no matter what at this point, basically. Do not play him if you want to have him next year.
I think it would honestly be the funniest. Obviously, I don't wish it will on any of the players, but it would be the funniest thing if he went out and on the first drive again, fucking like tore his Achilles or ACL or something.
Jesus Christ, Ryan.
He's going to because they're playing at MetLife Stadium.
But also because
MetLife has been killing players this year. Like, absolutely killing players.
I saw something that it was just like, he's not actually going to play. He's just doing, getting this so that way he can stick it to the whole Western medicine thing like he usually does, how doctors don't actually know what they're talking about. So he was like, I could have played if I wanted to, but I chose not to. That's what like everybody is saying. It's like
could be.
He's just using it for his campaign against science and medicine.
I don't know. He's out there actually running around throwing passes during practice, so
it's bizarre seeing seeing some footage of him. He looks like Aaron Rodgers. He still can throw. He still can move. It's just, I've been keeping up with it too, just trying to figure out, like, watching it, like, how is this possible? I just don't understand.
It's also... Go ahead, Matthew.
No, I was just saying, it shouldn't be possible. There's no reasoning behind it. If you tear your Achilles, usually you're done. So
it's also... Yeah, I've also seen fucking like once again, these are all like conspiracy theories, rumors, which Aaron Rodgers probably loves because there's conspiracy theories.
That he never actually tore it.
Yeah, that he never actually tore his Achilles. It was something else that they just fucking said was an Achilles tear.
Except you can see his Achilles pop in the video.
Oh yeah, maybe he's got a fake leg.
It's crazy. Like, I know we're a NFL podcast, but I saw like somebody was saying there's no way that he's going to be healthy enough to play when it took James Harden 18 months to come back from an Achilles tear in the NBA, and it's been not even 3 months since Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles. And I was like, you know what? That's a good point. I mean, granted, the NBA players run a lot more than Aaron Rodgers is going to be running. I mean, he's not a running quarterback. Obviously, he's 40 years old. He drops back and he stays in the pocket. If he doesn't, he gets sacked. That's the end of it. but still, it's a good point that this will be easily the fastest anybody has ever recovered from an Achilles tear in any major sport. If he does come back and play.
If he comes back, they better sit down with the offensive line and be like, whatever you do, just don't let him get tackled.
And their offensive line is not good.
No, it's not. It's not. But they're gonna have to they're gonna have a conversation. Be like, y'all got to play out of your minds if he's coming back. But even at that point, are the Jets gonna even have a chance? Like, will they already be eliminated from playoffs?
I mean,
because it'll be Christmas.
I don't. Let me look at the standings real quick.
Playoff chances.
I mean, no, they mathematically will probably not be eliminated from playoff contention. Maybe. They already have like a 1% chance to make the playoffs. Which, I mean, there is still just to put it out there at how even the NFL is this year, the Panthers could still host a playoff game this year mathematically.
Yeah, I saw that. That's insane.
Yeah.
I could also win the lottery. So.
You could. You're not going to, but you could. But yeah, if you were saying like they need to sit down and have a talk with the offensive line if he plays, they need to sit down with him and say, you're not playing.
I don't
what week would he return potentially?
It would be 16, yeah.
All right, yes. If they win the next 3 games, I thought this fucking thing on the New York Times where I can figure out stats on percentages of chance to make the playoffs. It's not accounted for any other team, but if they win the next 3 games, they have a 7% chance to make the playoffs.
See, so mathematically, they're not going to be eliminated more than likely. So,
all I know is that if I'm the Commanders coach, I'm sending about 9 people at him the first play.
All right.
Ron Rivera, you heard it here first.
Yeah, let's move on. But what else we got?
We got Jonathan Taylor is going to be out for 2 to 3 weeks for the Colts with a thumb injury that required some kind of surgery. So big blow for the Colts. They're also a team that's in the playoff race right now, trying to get a wild card spot. Probably not going to catch the Jags at this point in the season to get the division. So
I think it's
for
just
the Titans, though.
It's really shut up. It's really between the it's really between the Colts and the Texans right now for a potential wild card spot because they're technically tied with their I guess their record, but then the Colts have the tiebreaker, I think. So I can see the Colts making it. I got to give credit to Shane Steichen as a head coach. I don't think he's quite good enough, but he's probably at least a potential. I mean, especially if they go on a run now, he is in the running for Coach of the Year at this point, I think. Because they have been dealing with some. I mean, they dealt with the Anthony Richardson situation, and got to give credit Gardner Minshew. He's been playing pretty good. I mean, he's had a couple bad weeks in there, but overall, he's been pretty good.
I think their biggest problem to make the playoffs is going to be their defense because they just can't seem to stop teams from scoring. Especially when it comes down to crunch time. So we'll see what the next 6 weeks bring for.
Yeah, talking about the Colts, obviously Jonathan Taylor being out it's good, but I'm still thinking about they're playing the Titans this week. Even though Jonathan Taylor was back last time, they still mostly stuck with Zach Moss, and Zach Moss ran all over us. So that's still potential again. Now, again, like I said, with the defensive line. They play horrible away and play good at home. So we'll see if that stays true here because that was part of the problem. They played in Indy last time, and they couldn't stop Zach Moss. So we'll see what happens. But I don't think it should sway people away from picking the Colts, probably. Although I was surprised. We'll get to it in a little bit, but only one person picked the Colts this week.
Well, we have one more bullet point. Saved it for last because it's the biggest news of the week, in my opinion, and probably in everybody else's. The Panthers have finally fired Frank Reich. I saw that he is the first coach to be fired in back-to-back seasons since 1960. After being a head coach. They also fired assistant head coach / running back coach Deuce Staley and quarterback coach Josh McCown. And then I threw it in here for fun that Greg Olson said he would be interested in the job if he was approached about it.
Let's see that. That'd be kind of cool. I mean, I say don't give it to him because he hasn't ever coached before and it's going to be the same effect, but
I don't
be cool.
I don't want him to take the job because I've been loving him as a commentator. Yeah. He's so good as a commentator. He's one of the only ones I actually like. So I don't want to lose Olsen to that. But,
yeah, I mean,
I wish Gavin was here because he was talking so much, in the off season about how mad he was that Frank Reich immediately got another job, and now we see what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we don't have to even talk about it much because we've talked about it all season that it was going to lead to him getting fired, whether it be in the middle of the year or at the end of the year, just because he's failed twice now in back-to-back seasons at being a head coach with what should be teams that, I mean, the Panthers probably wouldn't be in the playoff talks or anything with another coach just because of the players that they have right now, but they're a better team than just one win with the players that they have. So,
they should at least have like maybe 3 or 4 wins at this point, at least. But yeah, the roster isn't good, obviously. But yeah, it's just a dumpster fire over there. And I know my friend Justin, he's a Panthers fan, and his biggest thing was yes, Frank Wright needed to be fired, but also like their owner, what's his name, Tepper,
David Tepper.
He's just making wrong decision after wrong decision, and he keeps meddling in all the football stuff. It's like, hey, just be an owner and hire the right people for the job and let them handle things. Don't keep getting involved in that business because clearly it's not working with you being in it. So
yeah,
he just needs to find somebody that he can trust, a good general manager, a good coach, and just let them do their thing, stay out of their business. But
yeah. Also, I do have one more bullet point. If anybody else has anything to talk about with the Frank Reich thing, then I'll hold off. But if not, then I'll. All right. It's that time of year where I get to bring it up that we have a playoff clinching scenario this week for the first time this season. I'll keep it short this week. There are a few, scenarios that can happen, but I'll keep it short this week. The Eagles can clinch a playoff spot with a win and a Rams loss this week. Or if they win and the Lions and Packers both lose. So we'll see. I don't think the second one will happen. I do think the first one is very possible. So they're the only team that has a shot right now to clinch a playoff spot this week. So we're back to that fun time of the year where we'll have all these crazy scenarios that'll start popping up in the next few weeks for how teams can get into the playoffs.
I'm excited.
But I think that's it for the news. So.
All right, we want to do fantasy next.
Let's fantasy it up. Let's live this fantasy world.
All right, you can tell I've definitely changed screens because now very.
I went white too. I looked at myself. I was super white as well.
All right, so, now I'm showing it. Y'all can see that, right?
Yeah.
All right, so first off, over here on the right, we got to address something that happened right before the trade deadline hit. Me and Tyler made a trade.
I'm titling this trade the "We Hate Ryan, Hope He Loses" trade, because they both did this to try to beat me in both of their games.
Well, for me, it was 100% just trying to make a push to not get knocked out of the playoffs.
Which is, I'm the only person that can do that to him.
Yeah, but yes. So I gave up a lot for him, but
you got fleeced.
What?
You got fleeced by Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave him Derrick Henry, Ayuk, and Nakua for Tyreek Hill. So I wanted Tyreek Hill just because I wanted something to kind of battle. Next week, Ryan is going to probably have Justin Jefferson back. Now, I don't know what the Vikings are going to look like, but I sold Derrick Henry while he was high because he has been very inconsistent this year. He had a really big week last week. Puka Nacua has been very inconsistent as of late, not as good recently. And then Ayuk, the problem with the 49ers is either they go to Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel or they go to Kittle and Ayuk. And it's just every other week, it's going to be one or the other. So I still feel good about it, given that I don't think that any of these players were, maybe Ayuk, but the other two guys I've been benching almost every week at this point. So for me, it was probably the good move because I was going to have to make adjustments because we're going to look at it when we go to the matchup here. So part of the problem is I have both the Ravens defense and Justin Tucker off this week, and I didn't want to. I was going to have to drop players anyway, and I didn't know who to drop, and I was like, well, if I'm going to drop somebody, might as well get some capital out of them. So that's why I said, hey, Tyler, I'll trade you multiple players for Tyreek Hill. So it ended up happening. Like what Matthew just said, technically, according to the system, he won the trade a little bit, but I still feel like it was an okay move for me. Because if Eckler can figure things out, I've got Eckler, I've got Kyron Williams. I wish I had started Kyron Williams last week, of course. And so those are going to be my RBs. And then I'll have AJ, Tyreek Hill, and then I don't know if Olave is going to be my guy this week or I'm going to go with one of my running backs because unfortunately I would play DJ Moore, but he's off.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
that's why. Go ahead.
Your team's probably fine. Your starting lineup's fine, but you risk if any of your players get injured now, you don't really have any good backups as much.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
That's what you risk with that trade. Like I said, obviously.
What do you mean I don't have good backups?
Well, I mean, like you could have had because you're getting rid of all like starting caliber players in regular leagues. So now it's like your backups are going to be Ramondre or fucking DeAndre.
Ramondre Stevenson has been pretty solid. I will say he's been pretty solid even
Not
though
as
he's on the
much
Patriots.
as Ayuk though, and
yeah. Ayuk has been a dog this season for the most part.
DJ Moore's been better too.
DJ Moore's been good.
DJ Moore's been good, but Ayuk and Derrick Henry have both been better than them.
And even though Nakua's fell off, he could have a breakout week any week because he starts.
I don't know. Just looking at it from my perspective of what I've seen each week, it made sense to make this trade. Because again, like I said, I was gonna have to drop somebody to get another defense and get another kicker. At least this way, I didn't just have to drop and just let somebody get one of those players anyway.
Well, you wouldn't have dropped those players you traded away.
Well, who would I drop then is the question.
I'm gonna like Breece Hall or Justin Herbert or something.
Breece Hall has been very solid too.
I don't know. I'm just I mean,
and I'm not gonna get rid of Herbert because then somebody else would get him too, and he's a solid backup in case Jalen Hurts gets hurt. So
I don't think anybody needs Herbert. Everybody has good quarterbacks. Once again, I don't like the trade because I'm playing Tyler this week, so it gives him two more weapons that he didn't have. Mm-hmm. I mean, he doesn't have Tyreek Hill now, which is nice, but he's got Ayuk and Derrick Henry started against me, and I play you next week, and so it helps you out. It helps both your team out. It's a good trade. It is for both your teams. It's just it fucks me over a lot because only thing I had to do basically to not get last place is just beat Tyler this week, and I'm he can't pass me and get last. And I'd have to win out both these games, I think, to take Steven's spot. And I think, Steven, you'd have to actually – are you one game ahead of me? What are you?
He's
I'm
one game
ahead of you. Yeah.
So, yeah. Well,
it's going to come down to our week. Because I'm going up against Gavin this week. I mean, come on.
You've put up more points than 4 now in me. I've dropped like 3 of y'all past me this past week in points 4. So, yeah, I'd have to beat both of y'all to get into the playoffs. I'm not even trying to get playoffs. I'm just trying to not get last. But I did say, because it helps out Tyler a lot and it helps out Steven, where I potentially could now lose my last 2 games, that if I do get last overall, I'm making Steven buy my jersey for me.
All right. But, yeah, so this is the matchup this week between me and Gavin. The biggest thing I notice here is if Tua can't get it to Tyreek Hill and he gets it to Jalen Waddle, then he probably wins this week. But the one benefit I have is the Seahawks kept the Cowboys to -3 points. That was pretty great. So thank you, Seahawks. And then, Brandon Aubrey kind of offset that, though, getting 15 points. I don't know.
Scroll down. Scroll down, Steven. Trying to take a look at Gavin's bench. I don't see why he keeps... Oh, he's on bye. I was going to say I don't see why he keeps benching Devontae Adams, but...
No, I have the benefit of Devontae Adams being off this week and Josh Allen being off. But I'm giving
the edge to Gavin. I don't like the matchups that you have on your lineup, Steven, with the 49ers and Eagles playing each other, and both of them having decent defenses.
49ers have a terrible secondary, though. You got to remember that. They're
see.
They are, though. Look at their opposing rank. It doesn't show it here, but it's in the 20s or something. So AJ Brown could have a big game. The question is, can the offensive line hold off the 49ers defensive line giving Jalen Hurts time?
That's exactly my thought is Jalen Hurts going to have time to throw the ball?
Yeah.
The ESPN app has given Steven 58% chance to win this.
Yeah. I like my chances this week.
Gavin's kind of fallen off, honestly, towards the end of the season.
It comes down to, like I said, the Dolphins. What happens in that game? Because the Commanders' secondary is fucking terrible. And Tua and Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill are in this game, in this matchup. So, and then it is interesting. The Eagles versus the 49ers is a very interesting combination because both have an incredible defensive line against running backs and quarterbacks, but then both of their secondaries are really bad. In fact, the Eagles secondary, I think, is 32nd, 31st ranked in fantasy against wide receivers. So it's going to come down to who can throw the ball to those receivers better, I think. And I do have Kittle here too, so right now it's saying I'm projected to get 144 to his 130, so I feel pretty good about it, but we'll see. That's why I think the Tyreek Hill was a big trade for me, because before this, especially with I couldn't play all those players that I had in that trade, obviously. This gave me a much better chance to beat Gavin this week. So, all right. So, y'all got anything else to add on this? Ready to move on to the next one? All right. Here's the one that Ryan was mentioning already. We got Tyler taking on Ryan, and obviously Tyler has put in Derrick Henry
and Ayuk.
He did not play. He played Trey McBride when he also had Jake Ferguson. I bet he wishes he had played Jake Ferguson at this point.
You should have played him anyway. I don't know why you wouldn't play him over Trey McBride.
Well, remember he was in our Discord call, and I was like, "I'm surprised you didn't play Jake Ferguson." And he went, "I don't have Jake Ferguson." I'm like, yeah, you do." So I guess he forgot about him, but
to not know who's on your team.
Well. I'm gonna give the advantage to Ryan here, honestly. But...
I don't like the matchup of the Cardinals against the Steelers, and having the quarterback and tight end. I don't see that working out. And then Ryan has the explosiveness of ETN and Rachaad White and Amon-Ra. So.
You say the explosiveness of ETN, but if you look at his game log, he hasn't gotten over 10 points in 3 weeks.
I was about to say, ETN has not been good as of late. He has not been good.
But he's not yet. Well, he got 12.6 last points. But since the bye week, he hasn't done really much.
Yeah.
Also, look at the defenses that he's played against, though.
Well, yeah.
He's playing a Bengals defense that is not good this week. So,
or is the Titans D-line good?
Our D-line is good, but our secondary is terrible. So if he breaks the D-line, then he should be getting more than that. But I don't know. ETN has fallen off, in my opinion. But even still, Rachaad White against the Carolinas secondary or rushing defense. And then Amon-Ra, yeah.
I mean, Amon-Ra, you say Amon-Ra's been fucking. He's like,
well, it's not Amon-Ra. It's more the Saints. The Saints has been kind of, you don't really know what kind of Saints defense you're going to get each week.
They've fallen off. I had this. I just this week finally dropped the Saints defense and picked somebody else up because they started off like the first half of the season like top 3 defenses, and they just were like, when I dropped them, they were the 12th defense in the league. Like
they haven't been getting interceptions as of late, and I think that's a big part of it. They were getting a bunch of interceptions earlier on in the season, but I mean, yeah. And then Michael Pittman against Tennessee is probably a good play too. I hate to say it, but it is a good play.
Yeah, I just fucking wish Justin Jefferson. I mean, he's on bye anyway this week, but like, God, I wish could have had it for more than like 4 games this year.
Yeah, and then just getting him in week 14. That's your only chance to really get to play him before playoffs.
I have to win this week for week 14 didn't even matter. I mean, I guess it matters. It did not get last place potentially, but if I want to get the playoffs, I have to win this week and the next week for sure. Yeah, actually, that's not true. I technically could, as long as if you lose both your games, I could just win one of the weeks. Well, I have to beat you for sure. So,
and then it would come down to points 4, I think. At that
right now, you're I think 7 points 4 above me.
Yeah.
So it's
if
very
you beat
close.
me, if you beat me, you're probably making it. It
depends on this week.
Yeah.
I've got my number 1 tight end on bye as well. So TJ Hawkinson is out.
So now we got the last matchup. We got Jason versus Matthew. Obviously, it kept it closer. It looked like. If it wasn't for DK Metcalf putting up 37 points, then I don't know about this one. I'm still going to give the advantage.
I don't know about
to
this one anyway.
Yeah,
my team is in shambles. Look at my bench.
Oh yeah, Stephon Diggs, Josh Jacobs, and Lamar Jackson all on bye.
You only have Deebo Samuel as an actual option on your bench.
Because Aaron Jones is out this week, and so is Dalton Schultz.
Yeah.
Why are you
not
playing
shambles?
Why are you not playing?
Because he's playing the Eagles. I don't trust him.
Like I said,
and KC's secondary is dog shit, so I put in Jaden Reed because he's been getting a bunch of points.
I would still play Deebo, given that Philly is not good against wide receivers. I would still definitely play Deebo. But I mean, either way, you play Deebo or not, I'm going to go to Jason on this one. The Dak Prescott CeeDee Lamb combination is so disgusting.
It's
I hate it.
Lethal.
But it's over. Yeah. Like they can't get any more points.
Looking at Jason's team, it's like I don't see how he doesn't win our fantasy league.
Yeah, I think Jason's a favorite because, like I said, Gavin fell off a little bit. Matthew, you're high in the rankings, but you've if you look at your points for and points against, you've just been the luckiest.
You are the luckiest son of a bitch alive in our fantasy league. You are the Pittsburgh Steelers of our fantasy league because hold on, we're gonna fucking look at it real quick. It makes me so mad to look at it, and I know it's partially because he beat me twice by just a handful of points. But let's look at the standings here.
What did I say like 6 weeks ago? This is every single season.
Yeah.
Every year I play fantasy football, this happens.
This motherfucker is 7-5, and he only has 1396 points for against 1436 points against. How the fuck? This is literally the Pittsburgh Steelers in fantasy football form. That's what this is. And I know, like I said, a big part of it is I lost to Matthew twice by just a handful of points, and then you typically, if you lose hard. So I did beat you last time we played, but I lost the first 2 times we played.
While you're on, never mind.
I'll go back to it. Sorry.
As I say, while you're looking at the standings, you'll see the X and the E beside mine and Tyler's names. So I've clinched a spot in the playoffs officially, and Tyler has been eliminated from the playoffs. So, yeah, I mean it's. Percentage-wise, not looking good for Ryan.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can scroll back down and look at those points against, and you'll see why it's not looking good for Ryan.
Yeah. No, we talked about
Matt being the luckiest son of a bitch this year. I have been the unluckiest son of a bitch. The first overall pick gets fucking injured like week fucking 5, and then even still, I have a decent team, but I just can't fucking win games.
Hey, look, y'all are talking about points against. Steven's got like 12 points against him more than me, and Jason's got like 30. So,
all three are.
No, we are just
it's
talking
not
about.
much.
We are just talking about the fact that you are so much less points for versus against. That's that. I mean, the fact that you're only you're at 1396, while the rest of us are in the 1500s, except for Tyler.
2 games ahead of me, and I'm like 200 points or more than you, and 200 points against more than you. It's like
if you want to really put it into perspective, Matthew is 105 points more in points for than Tyler is, and Tyler has 4 less wins.
It's great.
That puts it into perspective.
It's the coaching. That's funny. I like that.
Matthew's got a great defense.
That whole situation made me less mad about it. That's great. I love that. All right.
It's fine though, because I know I'll be getting very unlucky in this league this year, but in my other 2 leagues that matter, I'm 9-3. So suck on that nuts.
Okay.
But you won't make the playoffs, and you might have to buy a Nick Bosa jersey.
God, no. I'm not lying about that. I'm buying a Kittle jersey.
I said that what we'll do is we'll get George Kittle jerseys, and we'll both wear them together at some point. I would love that. All right.
Well, that takes the punishment out of it.
No, I still have to buy a 49ers jersey. I fucking hate it.
Yeah, he still has to wear a 49ers jersey.
We didn't say I had to pick my least favorite player on the 49ers. I'm not wearing a Bosa jersey. Fuck that. I'll do the fucking Waffle House thing before I buy a Bosa jersey.
That's the fun part, is that you would hate to wear a Bosa jersey.
He's still gonna hate that it's a 49ers jersey at all.
Oh yeah,
though. That's the biggest part.
Trust me, I'm not wearing that Kittle's jersey except for like when I'm required to.
All right. But y'all ready to move on?
Well, all I gotta do is beat Tyler this week, or beat Steven next week. Just gotta get a win in the next 2 weeks.
All right. Well, let's go into our picks. So let's look at stats first for last week. We got the Week 12 stats. Jason's up there in first. Overall, even though obviously the standings show 1-6, really close. 2 people tied for second, and then 2 people tied for fourth, and it went 10-9, 8-7. So
this slide really once again just exemplifies my week in football. This like I said, the theme of today is Ryan's had a shit week.
Ryan while he's down.
I say I'm also got sick on Monday out of fucking nowhere. That was fun too. So I've been sick the entire week. It was great. Been a fun week for Ryan.
2 weeks. It's awful.
Yeah, but Jason's up there at 77%. I tied with Gavin at 69%. Nice. Tyler and Matthew got 62%, and then Ryan got 54%.
Hey, I'll take above 50 honestly any day of the week.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad.
Honestly, like I don't, for any of you classic listeners who've listened to us since day one, you'll remember last year I was dog shit at picks, barely better than Matthew. And
it's fair. I can't get mad.
Yeah, but so honestly, this is about where I expected to be this entire year. I'm surprised I've been in second place for so long overall, and you'll see I'm not second place anymore, But
first, before we get to the overall, let's look at you were right, we were wrong.
Oh my god, fucking Falcon, Falcon, that's amazing.
Obviously, so we all picked the Saints except for Gavin, who took the Falcons, and the Falcons won 24-15. And we have a theme again for this week, and I'm gonna have to explain why. It does connect a little bit to this slide. We'll get there in a minute, but. Let's look at our overall stats.
It's gotta be birds, right?
No, it's not birds. It won't make a sense immediately. I'll still have to explain it. But overall, right now, so Gavin is still holding on to first place. He has never lost it throughout the entire season. At 118
That's
picks
crazy.
correct, 65% overall. Jason has now jumped back up into second place, and Ryan fell down to third. I'm still holding on to third. I haven't moved. Now it's going to be between me and Ryan, I guess. But then again, he's only one behind.
We're still 1 game behind Jason. Jason has not pulled away from us.
Yeah, no,
I'm
we're
out
all
of
right there.
I'm out of reach at this point. You guys are
We're all right there. Jason's at 116, right? Ryan and I are both at 115, right? And
hey,
then,
Matthew, this is the week over 100. All you do is get 5 games.
I hope that Tyler doesn't get over 100 this week.
Hilarious.
Tyler is about to break 100, hopefully.
Yep.
Surely he'll get at least one game right. I hope he gets the Titans-Colts game right. 99, go ahead.
So I appreciate you keeping me on top of you. I remember earlier in the season when we tied, you'd always put yourself on top.
Steven is now a bottom.
Yeah.
It was never done on purpose.
I know it wasn't, but I remember every time you would catch up to me, but then you'd put yourself on top of me earlier in the season.
All right, but then Tyler's in 5th, and then Matthew's still in 6th. But Matthew, you're in catchable you're right there. You can potentially
I can catch Tyler.
You can catch him.
I won't catch y'all. I think it's impossible for me to catch y'all, but I can beat Tyler and not be last.
Yeah. It's
gotta
a
make
fight
good
between
picks.
5th and 6th. Yeah. All right. But let's get into our
just one more thing. I just want to point out, Jason said I have to make good picks, and I just never really thought about that. I think I'm gonna get all of them right this week.
I am honestly, I'm happy I don't have to pick the Seahawks this week. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, it is nice when you get a break like that.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. We've got our first game of the of the week. There is a Kirby theme this week. The Captain Falcon thing was what I was trying to figure out a theme for this week, and I decided on my favorite character to play in Super Smash Brothers. My 2 favorite characters are Captain Falcon and Kirby to play.
Oh, perfect.
So I went with Kirby this week. You'll see a lot of Kirby. Get ready. But starting off, we got the Colts playing at the Titans, and everyone went Titans except for Gavin, who picked the Colts.
I was on the fence for this.
It's a Titans home game. Until they disprove that fucking theory that they're going to win every.
It's
exactly why I went with them.
Such a stupid stat. It's such a stupid stat that I love.
I sent my picks to Steven, and in parentheses beside this game, I said, I give up with you guys because I feel like the Colts are the better team, but I have to pick the Titans because they're at home.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah. And I hope they keep the trend going.
I hope they don't. I hope they can keep it for the next 3 weeks and then just stop.
Stop when they play the Seahawks.
Exactly.
I will say I am for sure pulling for the Titans in this game because it helps the Broncos' playoff chances if the Colts lose. So I really need y'all to win this week.
Yeah.
I've been riding the Titans bandwagon this season, so I've picked them so many times for some reason.
Yeah, it's worked out on some of them.
It's worked out a bunch. It's worked out a lot more than I thought.
I mean, it's worked out 4 times maximum.
Yeah. It's probably worked out 3 times or something. Surely you picked against them at home at some point. But let's move on. I don't really want to talk about this game. Like I said, it's going to come down to can our defensive line show up like they do at home? If they do, then I think the Titans can win this. And this time it'll be Will Levis playing, because I don't think Will Levis played last time.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think that was before he took over. But let's move on. We've got our next game. Here we go. We've got the Falcons taking on the Jets. I was not sure if this was going to be a sweep, but it ended up being a sweep towards the Falcons. The Jets are, what the fuck are the Jets?
Easy pick. The Jets can't move the football on offense.
That's right.
They need to hop in that jet with Kirby right there on the infographic,
and they still wouldn't be able to move the ball.
Yeah.
The only thing that scares me is I just don't know if I can trust Arthur Smith either. So
we've already established that you can't. So
yeah, but he has been playing Bijan the last couple weeks.
Hey, don't worry, I'm still winning.
Yeah.
I'm finally starting Bijan again in my fantasy league, so he's going to stop using Bijan this week.
He's gonna have a headache.
Yeah, exactly. He's gonna have a tummy ache, but we're not going to hear about it until he's not playing in game time.
Bijan watches the pod.
It is funny to me how he just decided to stop using Bijan for a little bit there. He went back to Desmond Ridder, and it's like, what are you doing? Like, I just don't understand the moves that he's making. But
I was telling Jason the other day, so I'm in playing Madden 24 in my Superstar League, I think I'm in like week 9 or something. The current number 3 quarterback with passing yards and touchdowns is fucking Desmond Ridder in that league.
Oh, that's
like
wrong.
it's the most. That's how you know how mad it is. Fucking trash and inaccurate with how fucking portrays their quarterbacks.
I like in this picture. I've never noticed that someone's wearing a Brett Favre jersey right smack in the middle.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I still love it because of the fucking just the sad Jets fans on the jumbotron. I love it.
It's an accurate representation of their year.
Kind of just something. Just this century, honestly. That's a good representation of the Jets century.
All right, let's move on. Next up, we've got the Lions at the Saints. Most everybody went Lions, and then Matthew and I both went with the Saints. Matthew, why did you go Saints? I'm just curious. What was your reasoning?
Think the Lions are as good as their record shows. After watching them play against the Packers, they don't look great. They got a garbage time touchdown that made the score look better. Jared Goff is able to get the ball to Amon-Ra, and then they play good. Other than that, they're not great. They just have a really good record. And the Saints, like we said earlier, they're iffy. You don't know which defense is going to come out. I think if the good version of the Saints defense is in this game, they take this one.
That was exactly my reasoning. I was thinking if the Saints defense can show up, we've seen what Jared Goff has been doing lately with turnover issues, and one team that benefited a lot from turnovers earlier in the season was the Saints. So that's what I'm thinking. Now, if the Saints never get a turnover, I think the Lions do win. But I see the potential. I see the potential for a turnover to really change the game, and it's at home for Saints, so if it gives them any sort of advantage, I guess. But
yeah. One more thing is that I just really need the Lions to lose. But I think that this is a losable game for them. So, see.
I mean, I'm glad you gave me a bigger answer than just fuck the Lions. That's what I thought you were going to say.
No.
So I picked the Lions.
Fuck the Lions.
I picked the Lions for like the exact opposite reason. I think their offense has too many weapons for the Saints to stop.
Yeah,
I mean,
same thing.
They got Amon-Ra, Reynolds, Montgomery, Gibbs, Sam Laporta.
Yeah.
I don't think the Saints defense will be able to slow them down enough to win. I think it'll be closer than people are expecting it to be, but I don't think that they're going to be able to stop them enough to win the game.
Yeah. No, I'm fully aware that what I'm picking here is an upset. Just some reason in my gut, I was like, you know what? I'm feeling like this might be an upset type of game. So that's why I picked the Saints. All right.
Before we move on,
go ahead.
I just realized for last week, so we finally had you by yourself, Steven. Unfortunately, you didn't get the "we were right, we were wrong" thing, but
no, it wasn't bad enough to call it a worst pick of the week though. The Patriots should have absolutely tied that game with the field goal that they fucking missed. Yeah. So, and then I think Jason also had the Panthers game that he picked on his own, but it was just by a touchdown, so they weren't worthy of being added to the slides. But
same with the Seahawks and the Cowboys too. We actually put up a fight. So
yeah. And I wouldn't hold that one against you anyway because it's
your
team. So. All right, let's move on to the next game. This one I'm very excited for. I think this might be a really good game. We've got the Broncos taking on the Texans. So we have a 3-3 split. Jason,
exactly what I thought it would be.
Jason, Tyler, and I all picked the Broncos, and then Gavin, Matthew, and Ryan picked the Texans. Let's hear it, Jason.
Okay, I was going to say, who wants to go first?
That's your team.
Yeah, we want to hear what you got to say.
The biggest thing coming into this game is that the Texans are going to be without Dalton Schultz, who's been like the number 2 target this year for CJ Stroud behind Tank Dell. And I mean, Nico Collins is also up there. But lately he's been going to Dalton Schultz a lot. So if our defense continues this incredible turnover battle that they keep winning every single week by 3 turnovers a game, then I mean, we're going to wind up winning this game. I can see it being like 27-23 or something like that. I think it'll be close because, I mean, CJ Stroud is still going to make plays and make us look silly on defense. I mean, he's one of those guys that can do it. But he's also going to make mistakes because he's a rookie, and we have a lot of veterans on defense that will be able to, make some plays and hopefully get a couple turnovers at least, whether it be, interceptions or get to the quarterback and causing a strip sack and, getting us good field position. And something else that makes me feel good about this game is last week we played the Browns, who have the number 1 defense in the league, and we still managed to put up 27 points. So
that's honestly impressive.
Yeah, I'm hoping that our offense continues in the right direction. They've gotten a little bit better each week, not by much. They're still struggling for sure, but they're looking a little bit better each week. So my hopes are high for this game, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Texans are able to win just because they have a high caliber offense.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's a field goal game. Like a field goal or maybe a touchdown separates the teams in this, which is why I think it'll be a good game. And I think it will be an offensive game for sure. So I'm excited. I'm excited for this one.
One thing.
Go ahead, Matthew.
Oh, I was just gonna say, me and Jason were talking about this yesterday. I think that this is going to be like the CJ Stroud legacy game, because this is one of the first games that he will play that has real implications on if they can make the playoffs. Is the Broncos are they have to win this game, or they probably won't make the playoffs this year. It's the same for the Texans. I think that if CJ Stroud can come out here and show that he is like, I should have been the number 1 overall pick, basically showing the Panthers like I should have been the guy, and now I'm gonna do it here at the Texans. I still think it's gonna be close. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. I made the joke last week that they were gonna beat the Jags by 2 touchdowns, even though I didn't think it was really gonna happen. But I think this one can go either way. I feel nervous picking the Texans because of what the Broncos have been doing, but I'm not gonna fuck Jason and pick the Broncos.
The Broncos have been so hot lately. It is crazy how much that team has turned around.
And like I said, it's what's really helped us is the turnover margin. We have caused 16 turnovers in the last 5 games. That's the most since like the 70s in a 5-game span for a defense.
Yeah, I've been on the Broncos. I mean, I'm going for the Broncos in this game. I guess I kind of want CJ Stroud to. I want to be a shootout because I have CJ Stroud in fantasy, but yeah, I don't know. I think this is probably where the Broncos ride comes to an end. It's going to happen eventually. They're not going to win all the rest of the season. I guess they could. I don't think it can happen though, because they've had a hot streak, but it's still the same team that.
Our schedule is favorable for us
if
we can win this game.
Exactly.
It's favorable.
If y'all have a possibility, I think y'all might have. Honestly, I think you're probably going to only lose like 2 more games this season.
Oh yeah, I think the lowest we go in the last 6 games is 4-2.
Yeah, but then also it's possible that, like I said, y'all are kind of I think a big part of this win streak is just the fucking morale. It's y'all's morale is fucking great. It's awesome. But if y'all end up like having a bad loss, that might just fucking sizzle out all of the shit you got going for you. Because it's not y'all. Like I said, you haven't been consistent at the beginning of the year at all. Y'all were not a good team at the beginning of this year, and you'll be great.
Oh, no, not at all. Trust me, I know.
Yeah, no. Like I said, this isn't the 2015 Broncos, so we'll see. I don't know. I'm going for the Broncos, but I don't think they can pull out against CJ Stroud at home.
I'll say I'm not surprised Gavin picked the Texans. He seems to hate the Broncos this year, so I'm not surprised by that at all.
I've been very, inconsistent on picking the Broncos, but I'm fully back on the Broncos ride because of what y'all have been doing lately. I mean, it's just this one was I'm gonna pick the team that's currently hot right now. I mean, the Texans are hot too, but the Broncos are on a whole other level right now. So, all right, let's move on. We've got the Chargers taking on the Patriots, and this is another sweep. Despite the Chargers being a team that is not that great despite having such a great roster. You can't pick the Patriots here, obviously, with the way the Patriots have been. Did y'all see that when they showed the preview for this game, they put Bill Belichick on there because they don't know who to put on there for the Patriots.
They don't have 80 star players, so it's just like, well, we'll just put the coach up there.
I mean, they could have thrown Ramondre Stevenson up there.
That's what I was saying. If they were going to put anybody, they should have put Ramondre Stevenson because it looks stupid putting Bill Belichick on there.
Bill Belichick versus Justin Herbert.
Yeah, it's like, is he going to be the quarterback? Honestly, he might be better than what they've had. Quarterback.
They are starting Bailey Zappi this week. So
yeah, I don't know why they haven't been doing that the entire season. Mac Jones is garbage. I mean, I don't know.
When he's gone in, though, Bailey Zappi's been bad, too. So
yeah.
Well,
there's potential that Bailey Zappi gets benched for Mac Jones. I could totally see that happen.
No, I saw that Mac Jones is third string this week.
Oh, he is third? Oh,
yeah. Malik Cunningham is second string.
I forgot Malik Cunningham was
there. Yeah. Yep. But it's easy to forget he's there when they cut him and sign him every 3 days.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we all went Chargers. This game fucking sucks.
This is the worst game of the week.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping Keenan Allen and Eckler can have big games. That's all
they
I
will.
care about.
They will. The Patriots defense is ass.
And Kyron Williams is back, so that's the Rams.
Chargers.
That's the Rams.
Oh yeah, that's the Rams, not the Chargers.
You're the right city.
I mean, they're the same colors in the same city. They need to change something.
They both have a little curve thing going on.
Yes. They're basically the same team. They both suck too, so
and they share SoFi, so
I've made that mistake probably 8 times on the podcast this year talking about Kyron Williams on the Chargers.
I miss the old white and blue Rams uniforms, honestly. Those are better.
I did too.
Also, their new logo sucks ass. Their old logo was so much better.
Rams, you hear us now. Go back to St. Louis.
Well, I don't about to go to St. Louis. I mean, St. Louis, honestly, yeah.
All right, let's move on. We've got another 5-1 split here. Everyone went Steelers. Well, sorry, it's the Cardinals at the Steelers. Everyone went Steelers except for Jason, who took the Cardinals. Let's hear it, Jason.
The biggest thing for me is that while the Steelers' offense looked better last week without Matt Canada, they still barely put up any points. They were not able to fully sustain drives and finish off. On the other hand, the Cardinals' offense, since Kyler Murray has come back, has looked electric for most of the the games. While they've only gotten one win, I believe, with him. I don't know. Their offense, I think, will be able to score more points than the Steelers' offense will. So I mean, it's literally just one of those things of the team who scores the most points is going to win.
Well, yeah.
I mean, that's literally how I feel about this game. I feel like the Cardinals are going to score more points.
I think TJ Watt is going to have a big day. That's where I'm feeling. I think TJ Watt will get to Kyler Murray at least a couple times. And then
I think Kyler Murray will escape and get big runs off of it a few times.
It's possible. I mean, I think it's favorable at being at home for Pittsburgh too, but that's definitely a home field advantage type of place to play. So I don't know. The problem is y'all know how much I fucking hate the Steelers this year because of the fact that they're doing as well as they are doing with their fucking terrible stats. And then I've already said that I don't think Pickett's that great. I do think getting Matt Canada out there was the right move, obviously, but I don't know. This is one of those games that I was like, the way that you've given up with the Titans is the way that I feel about the Steelers. I just give up. I'll just fucking pick you. I don't know. You find a way to win. Anything else, guys?
Oh, this game's gonna suck too.
I mean, Cardinals are ass.
That's all right.
This game's gonna suck too.
All right, we got the Dolphins at the Commanders, and it was a 5-1. Everybody picked the Dolphins except for Matthew. Who picked the Commanders? All
I
right,
don't.
Matthew, go
I,
ahead.
I don't have much of a reasoning. I just think that the Dolphins are gonna get exposed at some point soon. Somebody's got to do it. I don't. I really don't think it'll be the Commanders. I just want to try and get a you were right or you were right, we were wrong. Oh, maybe this will be it.
I mean, I don't think so. But...
I hope
No, it probably won't. It probably won't. Don't get me wrong, but
Sam Howell has more passing yards than Tua does this year. So I mean,
that's the only thing that made me be like, maybe because Sam Howell has a bunch of passing yards. That's it.
Most in the league.
I still haven't gotten a Dolphins game wrong this year, so I'm hoping that I mean, they've all been there've been a lot of sweeps, but yeah, I'm rooting. Obviously, this is what I care about the most. Honestly, this week is this game, so the Dolphins win, so that I can continue that streak. Because I want to, even if I luck and lose or something, I want to be able to hold that over my head.
One thing I'll say is I think this game will be closer than it would have been if Jalen Phillips was still in, like if he was still playing, because the offensive line for the Commanders is bad. They've let poor Sam Howell be sacked so many times. And Jalen Phillips, of course, is out for the Dolphins, so that is one benefit for the Commanders. But especially, I mean, the wide receivers for the Dolphins should be able to just burn the Commanders' secondary so bad. So
yeah, I mean, they're probably gonna score 50, but it's the off chance that they don't.
Hey, you're trying to gain Tyler, so maybe this is your chance, I guess.
Yeah,
maybe.
Oh, I have no faith in this pick at all. I'm throwing it out there now.
All right, let's move on. We've got the.
Oh,
I didn't remember. Did you pick the Panthers?
Yeah.
Okay. I looking at it, I was like, did I put this in right? We got the Panthers at the Bucks. Tyler and Jason picked the Panthers. Everyone else went Bucks. Jason, would you like to start us off?
Apparently, Jason's a Panthers fan now. It's like a week in a row you picked him.
I have a 4-word reasoning here. Fired head coach effect.
He told me that last night, and I almost swapped my pick because when he said that last night, but I'm not gonna.
Mark my words. The Panthers will win this game by 7 to 10 points.
Okay.
I believe in the fired head coach effect, but
do you want to switch, Matthew?
You know what? Yeah, swap it.
All right.
Oh, now I really don't feel good about it. I was already on the fence about doing it. But really, I don't feel good about it now. Having both of them with me.
The Bucks also aren't a good team anymore. I mean, they started the season off really hot, and then they just have died off completely.
Yeah,
they can't get Mike Evans the ball.
They started the season 3-1. They are now 4-7. So
yeah,
they reverse Bronco'd it. It sounds like.
All right, well, there's the updated graphic there. Now we've got Matthew over there on Panthers side.
I can't believe this game was a split now.
This is bizarre to look at.
Jason, Matthew, and Tyler, the Panther boys.
I don't see any way the Panthers win this. I understand that the coach firing is a big part of it, and based on previous history, that seems to be the game changer for most teams. I don't know if it's enough for the Panthers just because their roster is so bad. I don't know.
Look, hear me out. They might not win this week, but because they fired 3 of their coaches. But I think once the new coaches get in and they start working with the team, I think they'll win a couple more. I don't know what their schedule is, but
they've got to get more than one win, man. They've got to.
Yeah, I think this week the team is going to be a little bit more shaken up because of losing 3 coaches, especially the quarterback coach. But I don't know. We'll see.
Panthers play Bucks and Saints and Falcons and Packers and Jaguars and Bucks.
Oh no, the schedules.
I don't think they have another win in them.
I don't know. We'll see.
We're just gonna have to see how they look without Frank Reich. That's gonna be a big part of it. And then I don't even know. I mean, Frank Reich was not doing play calling, and then he Well, he was originally, then he stopped, and then he started doing it again, and now he's gone. So I don't even know who's doing the play calling at this point. So the Panthers are a dumpster fire, but you know what? This one is a game that even though it's not just one person, this will be a you were right, we were wrong if the Panthers win. I'll put all three of y'all on there.
Say since 2011, teams have a winning record the game after firing their head coach. So.
All right, you'll have fun on that side. I'm gonna stay on the Bucs side.
I mean, y'all act like the Bucs have like 8 wins or something. They only have 4 wins.
Oh yeah, no. I mean like you said, the Bucs, they started good and then they've really fallen off. But I don't know. It's the Panthers right now. If it was probably any other team, I would consider it. All right, let's move on. This one's a good game. I'm surprised this isn't a primetime game.
Yeah.
We've got the 49ers taking on the Eagles. It's a 3-3 split. You've got me, Jason, and Gavin on 49ers side, and then on Eagles side you got Ryan, Tyler, and Matthew. So,
I really did not know who to pick in this game. I still don't feel confident.
I'm gonna do what you said you didn't want Matthew to do earlier. I'm just gonna say fuck the 49ers. That's my reasoning.
I don't blame you there. I get it. For me, this goes back to what I said earlier, that both teams are not, especially fantasy-wise, I don't know what it is just normal stats-wise, but I know both teams don't do well against opposing wide receivers. And then they are both like really high ranked against running backs and quarterbacks for the defense, I mean. So it's going to depend on the defensive lines, how much time they give the quarterbacks. If one of the teams gives one of the quarterbacks too much time, then I see big explosive plays happening. I could see this being this could end up being like a 30-point game, or it could end up being like a fucking 10-point game. I don't know. It's just going to come down to the defenses, I think. And I just think the 49ers, even though their secondary hasn't been good, I think they've gotten at least a little better as of late. And obviously, we remember earlier on in the season, it looked like how was the 49ers going to lose at all? And then they went on a couple, went on a losing streak, and then now they're kind of back to being hot again.
The only really good team that the 49ers have beat is the Cowboys this season. That's it. I mean, they beat 14-10, but they lost to the Browns, they lost to the Vikings, they lost to the Bengals, and they beat the Jags pretty handily. And the Jags are like, kind of maybe a good team, but they've only ever played one other good, or they've only ever beat one other good team this year. So
I just feel like the Eagles are the worst 10-1 team of all time. Like I do not think they are that good.
Last year's Vikings was worse.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you're right, but I still feel like they're not as good as a 10-1 team.
Well, I fully agree, but I don't think they're worse than the Vikings were last year.
Yeah, the Vikings. The fact that the Vikings had such a good record was just ridiculous. Last year.
I'm not saying that to compare it to the Vikings of last year.
Yeah.
To compare it to the what are they, 8-3 49ers? I think are a better team than the 10-1 Eagles.
I mean, I obviously agree with the way I picked, and then it's also, I mean, obviously y'all know I'm a big Eagles fan. I want to pick the Eagles here. I mean, I'm not like an official Eagles fan, but I'm kind of on their bandwagon right now. But I think right now 10-1, they are not a 10-1 team on paper.
No.
They should not be with the way that they've been playing. They've gotten a couple really close calls. They probably should have lost to the Cowboys if Dak knew where his fucking feet were. And then, if Josh Allen had any ability to be clutch in overtime, they probably would have lost to the Bills too. So, I can still see it going either way though. And I think it will be a good game.
All right. 49ers by 10.
I don't know. I'll say 49ers by 3. I think this is another field goal game, maybe.
Eagles by 46.
46. I love it. All right. Next up, we've got the Browns taking on the Rams. We got one person on their own there. We got Ryan picking the Browns. Everyone else went Rams. So what's your reasoning there?
I'm noticing a theme this week with Ryan. He's picking against his division in every single game.
I mean, Cardinals, you can't really call that a risky pick. So
I would call it a risky pick.
Picking against the Cardinals, that's not really. I mean, I'm honestly surprised it's 5-1. I know Browns are gonna be with fucking Joe Flacco, but like, the Rams aren't a good team.
Their offense is too good. I feel like
Browns is the best defense in the NFL,
and they just lost by 17 points to the Broncos,
who are the hottest team in the NFL,
who have one of the worst offenses in the NFL.
I'm not recently. Like I said, y'all are hot as fuck now.
We have one of the worst offenses in the NFL, stat-wise.
I don't know why you're such a huge Rams fan all of a sudden. Why you're arguing with me so much about this?
I'm not. I'm just letting you know that the Browns got beat by an offense that's not good.
But you were. I mean, I say it's the way the Broncos are. They just show up. We're not on the Broncos. It's fine. Browns are still the best teams in the NFL. I mean, yeah, they had one bad game, but Rams aren't a good team. They aren't. So
I want y'all to get into another weather debate like the episode of the
It's going to be too hot for the Browns to handle. They're going to be playing in LA.
They're
going to be sweating their balls off.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about. What are the Rams or what?
5-6. They're one game worse than the Seahawks.
Yeah, well, that's because they beat the Seahawks twice. So I mean, the Rams have got the only good wins they have this season really are the Seahawks, just because once again they're our kryptonite. I've said that over and over again. They beat the Colts, they beat the Seahawks twice, they beat the Cardinals. That's it. They beat the Cardinals twice, they beat the Seahawks twice, and they've beat the fucking Colts. That's who they've beat this year. Like, they're not a good team.
I mean, I will say, obviously, I picked the Rams here. I was also surprised that it was a 5-1. I figured more people would pick the Browns. I thought this might be another 3-3, but I do think the Rams having Kyren Williams back is a big part of it. That dude is an absolute stud. And then, even though Puka has been kind of hadn't been as good as of late, I do see him having potential to have another big game this week. So I don't know. That's why I went Rams. I do kind of like the Rams this year. They have surprised me because before the season started, I would have thought that they would have been a really terrible team, but it looks like they just made a couple big changes to their roster that ended up really working out in their favor. So
I said they're doing great division wise, but if you take out their division, they're not doing well. They have one win. I don't know. I'm just like go back to the whole hounding or the schedule. I mean, the Browns have beat like the Bengals and the Ravens and the 49ers and also the Colts.
Yeah, but the Ravens are a divisional game and so are the Bengals. It's the same argument you have for the Rams.
Yeah, but the Ravens and the Bengals are much better than the Seahawks and the Cardinals.
The Bengals are not better.
The Bengals are not good.
The Ravens are much better than the Seahawks. The Bengals are much better than the Cardinals. Y'all can't fucking argue that the Bengals aren't better than the Cardinals.
I could.
I agree with what you said there. Initially,
I don't know why
you're putting both of them together over.
No, I'm talking about like individually, like a combination. Seahawks Cardinals are not a better combination than the Bengals and the Ravens.
Still division though. That's what it comes down to.
I'm just saying we got divisions and like I don't know. Like I said, I'm surprised I'm having stuff to argue so much for this fucking game.
Also, the Browns will be without Denzel Ward for this game, so they're going to be without their top corner.
Just one more time, Joe Flacco is starting at quarterback.
He's elite.
Hey,
he's not.
Ryan,
never was.
If you're right, Leon, you were right. We were wrong for sure. Yeah. So,
but I'm not saying the Browns are going because of their offense. They're going to win because of their defense.
All right, let's move on. We're now at a primetime games. We've got the Chiefs taking on the Packers. This was literally no surprise when I filled this in with who picked what.
You were not shocked that Tyler picked the Packers.
Tyler's picked the Packers a lot.
He has.
He's picked them almost every week.
I feel like he always hates on us. He always picks the Bears.
Go back through and look.
I would have to.
Yeah, he has picked the Packers quite a bit.
I would say he's picked the Packers the most behind you.
Yeah, I would say so too.
Maybe so. Maybe I'm just blinded by him always picking the Bears, and makes me mad.
I mean, yeah, he did pick the Bears against y'all in week 1, I think. But then other than that, I think he's been. I mean, in the games where you feel like you would like, I'm pretty sure he picked y'all in the Packers Rams game, and then a few other ones. He's definitely he's definitely picked the Packers more than the rest of us have. But anyway, so yeah, Tyler and Matthew went with the Packers, and then everyone else went Chiefs. So how you feeling about this game, Matthew?
I don't think that they're as good as everybody thinks that they are. Because this year, especially, Patrick Mahomes has basically the same stat line as Jordan Love. I think he's got one less interception, and that's pretty much it. And then their AC's defense, secondary especially, is atrocious. He will score on them at will. And right now, the Packers are hot. Jordan Love is doing way better than I ever imagined he was gonna this season. Because I was calling for his head. I mean, he was playing horrible every week. It seemed like he purposely was throwing into triple coverage. Now, I don't know what happened, but he's fighting for his job, trying to stay a starting quarterback in the NFL. I think that I honestly, I really do believe we have a chance to win this game. Usually, I'll pick the Packers just because it's my team. This one, I think, I don't believe the Chiefs are that good.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely not as good as they have been in previous years. That's for fucking fact. I don't know. I just think they've been kind of in a funk recently in the past few weeks. I think they're gonna come back with that kind of a vengeance today a little bit. I know they won last week, but still.
They did not start off very well in that game last week.
Yeah,
they were down 14-0, I believe. Josh Jacobs ran all over them. But I'll say it's going to come down to, can the Chiefs wide receivers actually catch a ball?
That was my reasoning of being on the fence about this game.
Yeah, and I was on the fence too about it. Because it goes back to the Broncos game too. It's like, it feels like you should go with the team that's hot, and the Packers have been hot as of late. But I don't know, this game it's going to be a tough one, and it's in prime time. I don't know the exact stats, but is Jordan Love good in prime time when he's?
I don't know how many primetime games Jordan Love has played since he's been a quarterback.
Well, obviously, he was on TV for Thanksgiving, and then
and we won, and
so I don't know.
Go Pack, go! Fuck the Chiefs,
sir.
Oh, absolutely.
Trust me, absolutely rooting for the Packers here.
I'm rooting for neither of them. I'm rooting for a tie.
Regardless, this game doesn't hurt or help our play. I mean, I guess it would help if we won, but it doesn't hurt our playoff chances if we lose to the Chiefs. So,
yeah. Let's move on though. We've got Monday Night Football, and we got another sweep here. It was the Bengals taking on the Jaguars. Everybody went Jaguars. It's hard to pick the Bengals right now when they've got Browning as their quarterback. I mean, what we've discovered this year that I feel like is a big learning lesson. Well, you know what I mean. There are a lot of teams that probably should have focused more on their backup quarterbacks, because we've seen how many teams have just been completely destroyed by losing their starting quarterback. But then look at teams like the Colts. They did good by getting Gardner Minshew, who has been a pretty solid backup behind Anthony Richardson, and probably is making a name for being a possible starting quarterback again for another team at some point. Because they're going to go with Richardson when he comes back. But the Bengals are going through that right now. And then, I mean, there's been several other teams. I mean, look at the Jets losing Aaron Rodgers and having to deal with Zach Wilson again. They didn't have a good backup plan. And then I guess the Browns have kind of been dealing with that too. I don't know. But, this one was easy. Losing Nick Chubb too, which obviously not a quarterback, but, that completely hurt. That destroyed their season too, was losing their best running back. By far, but this one was easy. I mean, the Jags are still playing well, and so
Jags for the Super Bowl.
We'll see.
My bold predictions are still not bad. I mean, Jags Super Bowl, they have a chance. Chiefs losing the first round of the playoffs. That's honestly a very viable possibility. I think
so too.
I think you're going to be right.
Yeah.
All right. Y'all got anything else to add on this one?
No, you hit on everything I was gonna say.
Yep.
All right, and then of course we have to cover next week Thursday Night Football. We're back to bad Thursday Night Football, y'all.
I hope y'all like that one good game we got.
Yeah, we've got the Patriots taking on the Steelers.
I don't even have anything to say about this game.
It's the second game at home in Pittsburgh. It's gonna be shit. They play the Cardinals at Pittsburgh the week before, and they play the Patriots the next week. It's like two of the fucking worst teams in the NFL. In a row.
Yeah, I can't wait. What is the Steelers' record right now?
7-4.
I can't wait for them to be a 9-4 team.
I really need them to lose. I really need them to lose because they're also another team that the Broncos are in the playoff spot battle with.
Yeah, the rest of the Steelers' schedule. They got the Cardinals, and then Patriots this game. And they have the Colts, the Bengals, and I don't think. Is Joe Burrow out for the season, or is he going to come back?
Yes, he's out.
So then they got the Bengals, would be easy. The final two games, they do play the Seahawks and the Ravens, but they don't have a hard game. I mean, not that we've been showing up recently that much, but they don't have a hard game really till us on New Year's fucking Eve.
They're probably going to go 11-6 and make the playoffs. Steelers will win the Super Bowl.
I will probably quit watching NFL if the Steelers win the Super Bowl this year.
Steven,
I would rather the Steelers win than the Chiefs.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
Steven mentioned in the other game how he was becoming less and less of a Steelers fan because of all this ridiculousness going on with him. It's the exact opposite for me. I'm becoming more and more of a Steelers fan because of all this fucking ridiculous going on. I already love Mike Tomlin. I always have, but just crazy. I love the Steelers this year.
I don't mind the Steelers. They I mean, except for they beat us, but
once they got fucking Antonio Brown and Ben Roethlisberger out of there, I like them a lot more. I know they were good players. I just didn't like them as people.
Well, it's because they were both shitty people.
Exactly.
I brought it up last night when I was talking to Matthew, and I forgot to bring it up when we were talking about the Broncos game. But I said that if the Broncos win the Super Bowl this year, I will buy a Russell Wilson jersey, and I will wear it on every episode of the podcast next year.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, I'm gonna flip back to the overall stats here. So this is where we're at right now. We'll see how this week goes. I know we
say the same thing every week. There could be a major shakeup. Could be a major shakeup.
Well, I mean, there was a shake. Jason got 3 games on me and passed me, so there was a big shakeup. I mean, that was the biggest shakeup this week. Because I was 2 games ahead.
Regardless, it's still really close between 1 through 4.
Oh yeah,
and then a battle between 5 and 6 at this point too. So,
I just honestly, one of us needs to fucking pass Gavin at some point. He can't be first the entire fucking season. That's crazy.
Yeah. One good thing that's going for us is that he fell off in fantasy. If he had won both fantasy and the picks, I would.
He's still good with fantasy. He's making the playoffs.
He could still do both.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's going to be in the playoffs, and if he plays well.
Well, who does he play next week in fantasy?
Probably Tyler.
Fuck.
But Tyler's beat him both times. I'm pretty sure.
Well, Tyler played in the very first week. You don't play your first person. I played you first. It's
Is it
Matthew?
Matthew?
I think he's playing Matthew. I think he's playing Matthew then.
Oh boy, he's scoring 25 points next week.
I'm about to say because with Matthews, honestly, it's possibly. Like I said, if I win, I'm only 1 game behind y'all, and I'm 1 game behind everybody but Jason. So if one of y'all lose and I win both my games, I take y'all's spot. So
it's pretty interesting. But yeah, I would be much happier. I would be fine with Gavin winning one thing and not both.
Oh yeah,
because obviously like Gavin a lot, but I don't want him to get that cocky about it because he will be.
But so the funny thing is though, Steven, is we're talking about we don't want Gavin on both things. It's gonna end up Jason winning both things.
I was waiting to see if anybody was
and Jason is a cocky son of a bitch.
Jason is the cockiest motherfucker I've ever met for no reason.
I'm so competitive.
Yeah. So,
yeah, I would rather Gavin win both things than
Jason
would too.
Win both things. So that's a good point. I didn't think about it.
I'm just competitive. I don't know what to tell y'all.
But the thing is, I'd also be cocky too. See, I mean, but I'm not gonna win both things. That's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna win the fucking fantasy.
Let's be honest. If anybody wins both, no matter who it is, they're gonna be cocky.
I don't think Steven would be.
I think he would. I think he'd.
Steven's got a little bit of cockiness in him.
I don't think Steven's that. Steven is the least cocky.
Really been cocky?
No, Steven really isn't that cocky.
When have you ever been dominant?
That's a good point. Yeah, that's true. You can't be cocky if you always lose. Damn. Remind me to jump off a bridge later, Matthew. Jesus Christ. All right, on that note.
I'm last in stats, Steven.
Oh, my God.
You shouldn't even be able to hear Matthew when he's that far down.
Yeah.
No, what's going to end up happening is I'm going to finish. The way it's going to end up finishing, I'm going to get 4th place in picks and in fantasy, which is right where I belong, right in the fucking middle on the lower end. That's usually where I fall, so can't be cocky if you're in 4th place.
Yeah.
That's right.
Let's call our episode that.
Can't be cocky in 4th.
Yeah. All right, well, if y'all ready to call it a podcast, Ryan, why don't you take us out, buddy?
This has been a fun little time, guys, out in Week 13ville. Glad you could come up by the fire and cozy on up with old Always Out of Market podcast, new name pending, hashtag. We've had a fun time with y'all. Hope y'all enjoy it. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Tell your friends, family about it. Tell your enemies. Tell whoever. Just if somebody likes the color brown or football-shaped objects, let them know about us, you know? We're here.
Not if they're a Browns fan.
No, yeah. Well, if they're Browns fan, they can be a fan of us. That's fine. Just let them know we're gonna not favor their team very much.
Look, I know of 2 people that are Browns fans that watch the podcast.
Oh, well, there we go.
Well, then thank you for watching. I'm just kidding, by the way.
No, die.
I'm about to say, well, they probably love me this week. I was fucking defending y'all tooth and nail this week.
Yeah.
You know, I'm here for you. Even though, by the way, I fucking hate the Browns. I just want to say that. And with that, it's been a podcast. Everybody hands in. Football!
Football!
See ya.